So, you're over 60 and somebody, somewhere, your neighbor, your sister, an article you scrolled past at midnight, told you melatonin is the magic bullet for your sleep problems. You've probably tried it. You went to the pharmacy, bought the bottle, and took it with a sense of hope. Maybe it worked for a night or two, giving you a fleeting glimpse of what rest feels like. Or maybe, more likely, it just left you feeling like a zombie the next day, wrestling with a strange, groggy hangover that wasn't worth the extra hour of spotty sleep. But what if I told you that for many of us, the key to finally sleeping through the night, to getting that deep, unbroken rest we crave, isn't about forcing sleep with a hormone? What if it's about relaxing into it with a mineral our bodies are practically crying out for? The whole magnesium versus melatonin debate can feel like you're standing in a brightly lit pharmacy aisle, completely paralyzed by choice. It's a wall of promises in plastic bottles. One label, usually with a serene picture of a crescent moon, promises to reset your internal clock. The other, often in a calm blue box, promises to promote relaxation and ease tension. But when you're lying awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling and watching the minutes tick by, you don't care about the marketing labels or the pretty pictures. You just want something that works. Something that will stop the merry-go-round of racing thoughts, ease the restless twitch in your legs, and let you sink into the kind of deep, restorative sleep that seems to have gone missing right around your 60th birthday. This isn't just another video listing supplements and their benefits. This is the head-to-head, in-depth breakdown you've been searching for. We're going to dissect the science behind both, but in a way that actually makes sense for your real life. We'll uncover what each one really does in your body, who it's actually for, and the big common mistakes a lot of people, and even some doctors, make when they recommend them. By the end of this video, you will have a clear, confident answer and a practical plan. You'll know how to diagnose your own sleep issue and decide which of these tools, if any, is right for you. It's time to put the confusion to rest, and more importantly, get some rest yourself. Before we throw our two contenders in the ring, let's get the lay of the land, your body and brain after 60. And let me validate what you're feeling. No, it's not your imagination. Sleep genuinely gets harder, more fragile, and more frustrating. The very structure of our sleep, what scientists call our sleep architecture, begins to change. We get less of that delicious, deep, slow-wave sleep. That's the phase where your body does most of its physical repair work and memory consolidation. Instead, we spend more time in the lighter stages of sleep, which makes us vulnerable to being woken up by the slightest noise, a change in temperature, or even a full bladder. But two specific changes are at the absolute heart of this widespread problem. First, let's talk about melatonin, the body's own master sleep hormone. Your pineal gland, a tiny little gland deep in your brain, pumps this stuff out as soon as it gets dark, signaling to every cell in your body that it's time to power down for the night. Think of it as the town crier walking through the village at dusk, ringing a bell and announcing that the day is officially over. The problem is, as we get older, this town crier gets a lot quieter. His voice gets a little shaky. Our natural melatonin production drops off, and for some, it drops off significantly. That robust, clear signal your body once got to fall asleep becomes more of a whisper than a confident shout. This is a huge reason why you might find it harder and harder to simply fall asleep at a decent hour. But that only explains the falling asleep part. What about the much more common and arguably more maddening complaint? I can fall asleep just fine, I'm exhausted. But I wake up at 2 a.m. with my eyes wide open, and I can't get back to sleep. This is where our second major player comes in, magnesium. Magnesium isn't a hormone, it's an essential mineral, and it is, without exaggeration, the body's great relaxer. It's like a master key involved in over 300 different enzymatic reactions in your body. But for our purposes, its most important job is to calm down the entire nervous system. The issue? Modern life has practically conspired to strip this critical mineral from our bodies and our diets. Aggressive modern farming techniques have depleted magnesium from the soil, meaning the food we eat, even the healthy stuff, isn't as nutrient-dense as it was for our grandparents. On top of that, chronic stress, that daily grind of worry and pressure, causes our bodies to burn through magnesium at an accelerated rate. Caffeine and alcohol also act as magnesium diuretics, flushing it out of our system. Even common medications like acid blockers and some blood pressure pills can drain our precious stores even further. While a true clinical deficiency isn't the norm in developed countries, having a suboptimal or insufficient level is incredibly common, a problem that often gets worse as we age. So you see the double whammy? You've got the hormone that tells you when to sleep fading away, and the mineral that helps you stay relaxed and asleep is in chronically short supply. It is the perfect storm for restless, unsatisfying nights. You're left with a nervous system that's a bit too on, like a car alarm that's too sensitive, and a sleep-wake cycle that's a bit too off. And that's precisely why people find themselves in that supplement aisle, looking for either melatonin to try and force the sleep signal, or magnesium to try and encourage relaxation. The question is, which approach is the right one for you? Let's start with the most famous, most widely used sleep aid on the planet, melatonin. It's in everything from children's gummies to high-dose tablets, and it's usually the first thing people grab when sleep becomes a struggle. But here's the single biggest misunderstanding about melatonin, the one that leads to all the frustration. It is not a sedative. It is not a sleeping pill that works by knocking you out cold. Melatonin is what's called a chronobiotic, which is a fancy scientific way of saying it regulates timing. It doesn't put you to sleep. It simply tells your brain and body that it's time for sleep. A great way to think of it is as the starting pistol for a race. It fires the gun that signals the beginning of the sleep process, but it doesn't actually run the race for you. If your muscles are tense, your joints are aching, and your mind is racing with anxiety, that starting pistol can fire all at once. You're not going to leave the starting blocks. Its one and only job is to manage your circadian rhythm, your body's internal 24-hour clock. So, who is melatonin really for? Let's imagine a man we'll call John. John is 65, a classic night owl his whole life. He gets a second wind around 9 p.m., stays up late watching old movies or reading, and when he tries to go to bed earlier, he just lies there, wide awake, feeling totally frustrated. His internal clock is just set to the wrong time, like a watch that's permanently stuck 3 hours behind. On top of that, John loves to visit his grandkids who live 3 time zones away, and every single time he visits, he gets slammed with jet lag for the first 3 days, feeling tired but wired. John is the perfect candidate for melatonin. His problem isn't anxiety or tension. His problem is pure and simple timing. For him, a low dose of melatonin taken in the evening acts as that missing town crier signal, helping to gently shift his body clock earlier so he starts to feel sleepy at 10 p.m. instead of 1 a.m. It is a powerful tool for circadian rhythm disorders, things like jet lag, shift work, delayed sleep phase syndrome, or just being a lifelong night owl trying to change your ways. So what are the pros and cons, especially for those of us over 60? The biggest pro is that for its specific job, it works wonderfully. For resetting a messed up sleep cycle, it is a scientifically proven and effective tool. However, the cons are a very big deal, and they are often overlooked. The first major pitfall is dosage. The market is flooded with tablets of 5, 10, even 20 milligrams. This is, to put it bluntly, a pharmacological sledgehammer. It's physiological overkill. Your body naturally produces a tiny fraction of that amount. For older adults, this is even more critical because our bodies metabolize everything more slowly. A high dose that a 30-year-old might clear overnight can linger in a 65-year-old system well into the next day. This leads to that dreaded melatonin hangover, making you feel groggy, dizzy, foggy-headed, and fatigued. Other common side effects can include headaches, nausea, or intensely vivid, sometimes disturbing dreams. The goal should be to mimic the body's gentle, natural whisper, not hit it with a hormonal shout. Most sleep experts recommend starting with a dose as low as 0.3 to 1 milligram. The second con is that for general insomnia, the kind driven by stress, worry, and anxiety, it just doesn't do very much. Studies have consistently shown it might only help people with this type of insomnia fall asleep about 7 to 12 minutes faster. For someone who is truly suffering, lying awake for hours, that's barely a drop in the bucket. It's statistically significant, but not clinically meaningful. If your mind is racing with worries, melatonin will not quiet it. The verdict on melatonin? It's a specialist, a precision tool, like a scalpel for fixing a broken clock. But it's not a Swiss Army knife for every sleep problem we face after 60. Now let's turn our attention to our other contender, which is quickly and deservedly becoming the unsung hero of sleep, magnesium. If melatonin is the timekeeper, magnesium is the tension tamer. It's not a hormone. It's an essential mineral your body absolutely needs to function, and its primary role in sleep is to bring on a state of profound calm, both physically and mentally. So how does it work its relaxing magic? It all comes down to its beautiful relationship with your nervous system. Think of your brain as having a gas pedal and a brake pedal. For a lot of us with sleep issues, especially the stress-induced kind, the gas pedal is floored all day long, and when it's time for bed, the brakes feel shot. Magnesium works on both sides of this equation. It helps ease your foot off the gas by blocking the action of excitatory neurotransmitters like glutamate at the NMDA receptors. And crucially, it helps you press down on the brain's brake pedal by binding to and stimulating your calming GABA receptors. GABA is the neurotransmitter that says shh to your brain, and magnesium helps that signal come through loud and clear. But that's not all. Magnesium helps relax your muscles on a fundamental cellular level. This can be a total game changer if you suffer from nighttime leg cramps or that infuriating sensation of restless leg syndrome, two very common sleep thieves for older adults. And here's the real kicker. Magnesium even helps your body regulate its own production and function of melatonin. So by taking magnesium, you're not just calming your nervous system down, you're helping your body's own town crier find his voice and do his job more effectively. It helps restore the natural rhythm. Who is magnesium really for? Let's meet Susan. Susan is 68. She feels tired and ready for bed at 10 p.m. and falls asleep pretty easily. Her problem is that she jolts awake at 2:30 a.m., heart pounding, mind instantly flooded with a to-do list of worries. Her daughter's job, an upcoming doctor's appointment, that weird noise the car was making. She feels physically tense, her shoulders are tight, and even when she's trying to rest, her body feels on high alert. Susan is the poster child for magnesium supplementation. Her issue isn't timing, it's an overactive, over-aroused nervous system that won't stay in the rest and digest mode it needs to be in for deep sleep. For her, supplementing with magnesium gets to the root cause of her problem by calming her racing mind and relaxing her tense body, allowing her to stay asleep. Studies have shown that magnesium can improve sleep efficiency, increase time spent in restorative deep sleep, and help protect against waking up too early in older adults. The pros of magnesium are huge. First, it directly targets the most common driver of poor sleep in our chronically stressed out world, an overstimulated nervous system. Second, it helps correct a widespread issue of suboptimal intake, so the benefits go way beyond sleep, to things like better bone health, blood pressure regulation, and muscle function. And finally, when the right form is chosen, it's generally very safe and well tolerated. What about the cons? The main one is choosing the right form. The magnesium aisle is genuinely confusing. You'll see magnesium oxide, citrate, and glycinate among others. Magnesium oxide is cheap but is very poorly absorbed by the body. Magnesium citrate is better absorbed but is famous for its laxative effect. It draws water into the intestines, which is the absolute last thing you want to deal with in the middle of the night. The form that sleep experts and nutritionists almost universally recommend is magnesium glycinate or bisglycinate. This form is highly bioavailable, meaning your body can actually absorb and use it, and is exceptionally gentle on the stomach. Plus, the glycine amino acid that it's bound to is also a calming neurotransmitter in its own right, so you get a wonderful 2-for-1 calming deal. The other con is that it's not an instant knockout punch like a sleeping pill. It works by restoring a fundamental balance in your body. Some people feel a noticeable difference the very first night, but for others, the real magic happens cumulatively, over several days or weeks of consistent use as your body's mineral stores are replenished. The verdict on magnesium? It's foundational. It's the tool you use to rebuild a more relaxed, resilient nervous system that is capable of deep, sustained, and natural rest. Okay, we've met our contenders. Melatonin, the precise timekeeper, and magnesium, the master relaxer. It's time for the final verdict. When you're standing in that pharmacy aisle, which bottle should you reach for? The real, honest answer is, it totally depends on why you can't sleep. You have to play detective with your own body and know if you're a John or a Susan. Ask yourself this, is your main problem that you can't get the sleep train to leave the station on time? Do you feel wide awake at 11 p.m.? That's a John problem. Or is your problem that the train derails in the middle of the night, leaving you stranded and wide awake at 3 a.m.? That's a Susan problem. However, if we had to pick an overall winner for general all-purpose sleep support for the average person over 60, the champion is, hands down, magnesium. Here's why. The most common sleep complaints in this age group aren't about jet lag or a lifelong night owl schedule. They are about waking up frequently in the middle of the night, restless legs, muscle cramps, and a mind that just won't shut off. All symptoms of an overstressed nervous system that magnesium directly and effectively targets. It addresses the can't stay asleep problem, which is often way more frustrating and debilitating than the can't fall asleep problem. By promoting both mental and physical relaxation, magnesium helps your body get into the state required for deep sleep rather than just signaling the time for it. As one prominent sleep doctor put it, he often prefers magnesium as a starting point because melatonin is a specialist for a niche problem, while magnesium addresses the more common, underlying issues of tension and stress that plague modern sleep. So where does that leave melatonin? Melatonin is the clear winner for specific targeted timing issues. Think of it as a specialist you call in for a very particular job. If your internal clock is totally out of whack from travel, shift work, or you're trying to shift your bedtime earlier, melatonin is absolutely the right tool to reset it. But using it every night for anxiety-driven, middle-of-the-night insomnia is like using a screwdriver to hammer a nail. It's the wrong tool for the job, and it's not likely to work. What about taking them together? Yes, you absolutely can, and for some people, this combination is the magic ticket. They can work as a perfect team, with melatonin setting the clock and turning out the lights, and magnesium getting the body and mind relaxed enough to actually fall asleep and stay asleep in the dark. But a crucial word of advice: start with one at a time. Begin with magnesium glycinate, since it addresses the more common set of problems. Give it a solid 2 to 3 weeks to see how your body responds. If you're sleeping more deeply but still struggling with falling asleep at the right time, then you could consider adding a very low dose of melatonin. That way, you'll know exactly what's working for you instead of guessing. Knowing what to choose is half the battle. Using it correctly and safely is the other, more important half. Here is your no-nonsense, step-by-step plan. How to take magnesium. 1. Choose the right form. This is non-negotiable. Get magnesium glycinate or magnesium bisglycinate. They are the same thing. It is the best form for sleep due to its high absorption and gentleness on the gut. Avoid magnesium oxide. 2. Start with the right dose. Begin with a dose of 200 to 300 milligrams of elemental magnesium. The label can be tricky. A capsule might say 500 milligrams magnesium glycinate, but you need to read the fine print on the back to see how much actual elemental magnesium is in each capsule. That's the number that matters. 3. Perfect your timing. Take it consistently 30 to 60 minutes before you want to go to bed. This gives it time to start working its calming magic as you're winding down your day. 4. Be patient and consistent. Remember, this is a mineral, not a sedative. Give it at least a week of consistent nightly use. For many, the best results build cumulatively over several weeks as your body's stores are replenished. How to take melatonin. 1. Go low. This is rule number 1, 2, and 3. Ignore the 10 milligrams bottles screaming for your attention on the shelf. Your starting dose should be between 0.3 milligrams and 1 milligram. You may need to look for liquid forms with a dropper or 1 milligram tablets that can be easily cut. You're trying to whisper to your body, not yell at it. 2. Timing is everything. Take it 30 to 60 minutes before your desired bedtime. Consistency is absolutely key here. Taking it at the same time every night helps to lock in your circadian rhythm and anchor your sleep-wake cycle. 3. Use it for its intended purpose. Reserve it for short-term use to fix a specific timing problem, like a few days of jet lag or a week of trying to shift your bedtime. Most sleep experts do not recommend it as a nightly, long-term fix for chronic insomnia. A critical safety note. This isn't just a friendly suggestion. This is the most important part of this section. Before you start any new supplement, you absolutely must talk to your doctor or pharmacist. This is especially true if you have any underlying health conditions like kidney problems, which can affect how you clear magnesium, or if you are taking other medications. Both magnesium and melatonin can have significant interactions with common prescriptions. Magnesium can interact with some blood pressure medications and antibiotics, while melatonin can interact with blood thinners and diabetes medications. This is not fine print, it's the main headline. Your doctor can give you the green light and make sure what you're planning is safe for you. If this deep dive is finally bringing some much-needed clarity to the great sleep debate, consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications. My whole goal here on this channel is to give you real, science-backed answers to help you thrive after 60, without all the hype and confusion. And please, stick around for this final part, because the most powerful sleep aids of all don't come in a bottle. I'm going to share a few simple but profound lifestyle tweaks that can supercharge the effects of any supplement you take and truly transform the quality of your sleep. Supplements are great tools, but they aren't magic. They work best when they're supporting an overall healthy sleep strategy. In fact, the gold standard medical treatment for chronic insomnia isn't a pill at all. It's a practice called cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI. While that often requires working with a professional, you can implement its core principles starting tonight. 1. Be boringly consistent. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every single day. Yes, even on weekends. Sleeping in on Saturday might feel good in the moment, but it gives your body social jet lag, confusing your internal clock just like a flight to another time zone. A consistent wake-up time is the most powerful anchor you can give your circadian rhythm. 2. Manage your light diet. Light is the master switch for your brain. As soon as you can after waking up, get 10-15 minutes of direct morning sunlight. This slams the off switch on melatonin production and signals wakey wakey to your brain. Then, in the evening, do the opposite. Dim the lights, and this is crucial. Get off your phone, tablet, and TV for at least an hour before bed. That bright blue light emitted by screens is particularly potent at tricking your pineal gland into thinking it's still daytime, killing your body's own natural melatonin production. 3. Build a sleep cave. Your bedroom should be a sanctuary for sleep and nothing else. That means it needs to be cool, dark, and quiet. The ideal temperature for sleep is surprisingly low, around 65 degrees Fahrenheit or 18 Celsius. Use blackout curtains, wear an eye mask, run a fan or a white noise machine. Do whatever it takes to eliminate light and sound disruptions. 4. Create a wind-down ritual. You can't expect your brain to go from 60 to 0 in 5 minutes. Dedicate the last 60 minutes of your day to something genuinely relaxing that doesn't involve a screen. Read a real book, not on a tablet. Do some gentle stretching, take a warm bath or shower. The subsequent drop in body temperature helps trigger sleep. Or listen to calming music or a boring podcast. This ritual signals to your body and mind that the finish line of the day is approaching. 5. Watch what you consume. This is a big one. No caffeine after noon. A cup of coffee at 2 p.m. can still be affecting your sleep 8 hours later. And be very careful with alcohol. That glass of wine or nightcap might make you feel drowsy and help you fall asleep faster, but it severely disrupts your sleep architecture in the second half of the night. It suppresses restorative REM sleep and almost guarantees you'll have a rebound awakening in the early morning hours. So where do we finally land in the great debate of magnesium versus melatonin? The final most important takeaway is this: use melatonin to set your clock and use magnesium to calm your body. If you're a John, a night owl fighting your natural body clock, or a jet-lagged traveler trying to get back on track, melatonin is your precision tool to be used strategically and at a low dose. But if you're a Susan, waking up in the middle of the night with a racing mind, feeling physically tense, or getting leg cramps, magnesium is your foundational support. For the huge number of adults over 60 whose sleep is sabotaged by the stress, tension, and anxiety of modern life, starting with magnesium glycinate is the most logical, gentle, and effective first step. The journey to better sleep isn't about finding a magic bullet or a knockout pill. It's about becoming a detective for your own body and giving it what it actually needs to do the job it already knows how to do. It's about shifting your mindset from forcing sleep to allowing it to happen naturally. By choosing the right tool for your specific problem and pairing it with smart, consistent habits, you can stop just hoping for a good night's sleep and start building one night after night. Here's to no longer being tired of being tired. Here's to waking up feeling restored. Sweet dreams.